Disgraced former crypto billionaire Sam Bankman-Fried was charged just yesterday with multiple crimes involving steering literally tens of millions of dollars, if not far more, to federal political campaigns, denied bail following those charges, and will remain in custody. It's expected that he will be extradited at some point in the near future. So this is a pretty massive turnaround from like 6 weeks ago when he was the golden boy of finance or whatever, was a legitimate billionaire, supposedly, to the extent that legitimate fits in that context. And since then, his organization has sort of fallen apart, and there's gonna be lots of additional legal ramifications of that. The money is effectively gone, and he could spend 115 years in prison, or at least is facing that. We wanna give you more information about these charges, so why don't we jump to US Attorney Damian Williams on the indictments that he's facing.
First, we charge that from 2019 until earlier this year, Bankman-Fried and his co-conspirators stole billions of dollars from FTX customers. He used that money for his personal benefit, including to make personal investments and to cover expenses and debts of his hedge fund, Alameda Research. Secondly, and relatedly, we charge that Bankman-Fried lied to Alameda's lenders about the source of the money that he was using to pay those debts. Third, we charge that earlier this year, in the midst of the crypto crisis, Bankman-Fried lied to investors in FTX about the fact that he had sent billions of dollars in FTX customer money to Alameda. And fourth, we charge that Bankman-Fried violated federal campaign finance laws by causing tens of millions of dollars in illegal campaign contributions to be made to candidates and committees associated with both Democrats and Republicans. These contributions were disguised to look like they were coming from wealthy co-conspirators, when in fact, the contributions were funded by Alameda Research with stolen customer money. And all of this dirty money was used in service of Bankman-Fried's desire to buy bipartisan influence and impact the direction of public policy in Washington.
And that's where I actually have some interest in this. Maybe it's been clear from people viewing the channel that I have not been that interested in this story. I actively avoid crypto stuff. It's just one of my biases, but that's what's so fascinating about this guy is that he wants bipartisan influence. And that makes him exactly like basically every other wealthy individual and corporation in this country. They buy both sides so they win no matter what because they have the money to do it and it's the best investment out there. And you'll notice, by the way, that when the initial information about him was coming out, the right was all freaking out like, oh God, this guy donates to Democrats. Is that why they're not doing anything about it? Elon Musk was tweeting constantly about it. And then when they said they were gonna investigate it, the right was like, but you're only doing that because we put pressure on you. And then when he was arrested, they said, well, they're only arresting him so that he won't have to testify. There's seemingly nothing you can do, including locking him up for his life, that will satisfy them. But now notice when it turns out that, in his words, so he gives tens of millions of dollars to Democrats as well as Republicans and says all of my Republican donations were dark. Reporters freak the F out if you donate to a Republican because they're all super liberal. And I didn't want to have that fight, so I just made all the Republican ones dark. He thinks he was the second or third biggest Republican donor in the country this election. And all of a sudden, I'm not hearing nearly as much about the corrosive influence of Sam Bankman-Fried's money on politics. I will offer maybe a compromise. How about this? Rather than individually freaking out for brief periods of time about individual people like Sam Bankman-Fried or George Soros or whatever, how about this? How about we make it illegal for all of them to put any of their money in politics forever? And then you never have to worry about it again, people on the right. Does that seem like a possible deal, JR?
I think so, but this is the thing though. If nothing else, look at this. This is the indictment of these politicians, because this is what they want to avoid it looking like. If there's someone like this who's obviously this criminal and everyone's against him now, and he made all these donations, he went dark with Republicans because the media is all lefty, and he also did it bipartisan. The reasons why he did it that way is because he knows the way to get what you want, even if you're openly doing this criminal activity, is to buy off politicians. Isn't that an indictment of politicians? Because you think this guy is the only one to think, hey, if I pay off these politicians, they'll do and conduct legislation whichever way I want them to until it gets busted. How many other people have done this? Countless. How many other businesses have done it? Countless. This is an indictment of the way our politicians work. If they know they're easily bought, these people who buy them, do you think no one else does?
Yeah.
They need to change it, but they won't because they're the ones being bought.
Exactly, yeah. Don't just stop this one guy, stop all of them, but they don't actually want to do that.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.